just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Everything is gonna be all right. I say every little thing is gonna be all right. My mom and dad always threw the dance parties on Friday nights at their house. The only black couple on the Air Force Base, but they loved hosting all the multicultural beauty of their friends. Mom had the most beautiful green cocktail dress, fitted in the middle and flared, showing off her hourglass figure and her toned arms. Michelle Obama had nothing on Mom. And Dad had an olive suit that he wore with a black fedora, permission to wear inside at the dance party. The walls were pink, which I learned were flamenco. The slipcover had flowers on it to match the walls. But the most important thing in the living room was the big wooden hi-fi console. Because more important than the rum and cokes, more important than the bid whist card game, more important than the fried chicken, was the music and the dancing. The dancing was the point. They'd turn on the music and it was Ella Fitzgerald, or it was John Coltrane, or Miles Davis, or James Brown. And I was 2, but I'd be bouncing and twitching and twerking just a little. But my favorite part of the dance was when my dad put me on his feet and moved me to Yusef Lateef or to Nancy Wilson. By the time my siblings came, and there were 6 of us, a gang of 6, we danced all the time everywhere. Outside in the backyard while Dad was cooking ribs, Motown was blasting, and the neighbors were enjoying it. We were downstairs in the basement celebrating somebody's birthday sometime with a blue light on. Do y'all know blue lights? They were not meant for chocolatey brown black people. They were not very attractive, but we did it anyway, and we danced our butts off while somebody played cards and somebody shot pool. My people were the people of the dance. They danced all the time, everywhere we could. My mom was suffering with lung cancer, had been fighting it for 7 years. 2 weeks before her 80th birthday party, she got critically ill, and she was like, I am not ready to go yet. Thank you very much. Got up out the sickbed, came to her birthday party, and danced Michael Jackson with her grandson. Last year, when my father began to lose weight and we didn't know yet that he had ALS, we threw a spontaneous dance party in the kitchen. P.S., by the way, have you noticed how when you were, kitchen seemed really big when we were little, right? What happened to that kitchen? In that teeny tiny kitchen, we threw this dance party. We turned Dad's favorite anthem on, put it on his boombox. Get up off of that thing and dance till you feel better, James Brown. Get up off of that thing and dance to relieve the pressure. My people are people of the dance. When they were taken off the shores of Africa and put on slave ships, they were forced to go on the decks of the ship to dance for exercise. And yes, they did, and yes, they would. And they used their dance to communicate with their mates because they didn't have the same language. But they used their hands to beat on their chests or beat on their legs because there were no drums on the slave ships, and they did the juba and communicated, we're still here. They did the limbo, communicating that they were in these cramped conditions, but somehow they knew that they could get under, and somehow they knew they would get over. My people are the people of the dance. They brought moves from Ghana, from West Africa, and joined them together with English clogging and Irish dancing, and suddenly there was tap. They pulled together moves from across the African diaspora, and suddenly there was the Charleston. They danced the ring shout in circles and sang and danced and danced and sang in clearings behind the plantation until the Spirit descended. And they were reminded that at some point in time, they knew how to fly. My people are people of the dance. When their brothers and sisters got married or their aunties and uncles died, they made a second line in New Orleans and walked behind the casket or the bride and groom, twirling their umbrellas and waving white handkerchiefs and stepping high to the jazz music that had also bought the Lindy Hop. How did they know how to dance? Even in the midst of sickness and suffering, my dad danced until he couldn't dance anymore. And on his deathbed, he said, "Jacqui, now I know you're planning that funeral, and you can do all that churchy stuff. You need to do all that churchy stuff. But you need to know, all my friends are not churchy, so there better be some dancing." And at his repast, we put on that anthem, and we got up off of that thing and danced until we felt better. What is it about dance that could happen for my people across time in a way that I would say saved their lives? Danced against the backdrop of shackles, danced when they were emancipated, finally at Juneteenth, danced even though they were assaulted, because when freedom came, capitalism does not like to lose, danced in the midst of the racial violence that was lynching in the 40s as we fought for freedom, danced in the midst of walking rather than riding the bus, danced as they worked to become enfranchised to gain the right to vote, danced across the Pettus Memorial Bridge because a march is a dance, danced for a living wage, danced for the value of Black lives. Why? How could they dance in the onslaught of white supremacist ideologies masquerading as church? How? How could they dance? How could they dance? I think it's because they knew who their dance partner was. I think it's because they knew, despite being catechized to the contrary, that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Rhea, Larry, and Mary, the God of the ancestors, was a God who sent into the world somebody like them. A brown, African Semitic outsider, marginalized, poor, un pobrecito, at one time homeless, at one time an immigrant, a Nazarene from Palestine, grown up on the margins, come to heal the world. I think they knew that they served a God who had not created the drama, the pain, the heartache of their circumstances, that the God they knew was a waymaker and a liberator, a life changer, a healer. They understood that the God that they loved them right back and did not expect the world to treat them as though they were something ugly on the bottom of a shoe. I think they understood that they could rely on God, who was not propping up oppression, who was not a proliferator of despair. But instead of a puppet maker, instead of a puppeteer, they were relating to a partner who knew them, who loved them, who saw them as beautiful, created in the image of God. And they could lean on the everlasting arms to get them through and make a way out of no way. Friends, we have a people problem in this nation right now. We have a people problem. We have poverty that is indescribable and a few billionaires owning all the wealth. We have a people problem. We have a problem where we're not talking to each other, but we're talking past each other. We have a people problem where we'd rather ban books than to learn our history so we never repeat it again. We have a people problem where we fear what is different and beautiful, where we think our job is to manage what people do in the privacy of their own homes. We have a people problem where we don't fully love women. No, we really don't. We think they should be quiet and pregnant and barefoot, even if they're 13. We don't really enjoy black and brown people, not fully, not yet. We don't think we quite deserve all the rights that white people do. We have a people problem because white people also are feeling disenfranchised and dispossessed and replaced. We have a people problem. And we have a people problem because we have a God problem. I say we have a people problem because we have a God problem. I don't think we meant to, but along the way we've constructed a God who is actually a composite figure of our fears, our insecurities, our disappointments, our dispossessed dreams. We've created a God who is in our pocket and on our side, who thinks like we think, who loves like we love, who hates what we hate, and gives us God-blessed permission to put that into the world as the way it ought to be. We have a people problem, therefore we have a God problem. We have a theological problem because we've constructed a small, puny, punitive, judgmental, not really joy-giving God to order our steps and keep us safe from the changes that are happening in our universe. I think we need to learn how to dance. I think we need to learn how to liberate ourselves from the boundaries, the container, the constrictions, the impingements we've put on ourselves and we put on each other. We do it because we're afraid. We do it because we think it's going to make us feel safe, but actually it just squeezes us to death. And the abundant life that we're promised eludes us. I think we need to learn how to dance, to think about God as a dance partner. What if we thought about God as a dance partner? What if we thought we were invited in the relationship we have with the holy to be partners in the healing, the creating, the saving, the rescuing, the liberating of the universe and ourselves? What if we thought of God as a dance partner who trusted us to show up with something, who believed that we have gifts and ideas and free will, oh my goodness, free will, to make this world the reign of God on earth? Can we imagine what it would be like to play with God? To let God play with us? Can you imagine what it would be like to think of God as a partner who will hold you close and dance with you cheek to cheek, put you on their feet and show you how to move, and then twirl you off into the dance floor to innovate, to improvise, to freestyle, maybe even to lock and pop, like 50 years of hip hop has given us? What if God really expected us to be co-creators, to be co-stewards, to choreograph a healed and whole world together. Imagine what we would do. Imagine the way we could fly. Imagine the new partnerships we'd make, the new paths we'd take if we imagine that God is our dance partner and theirs. That God has more than one dance vocabulary, more than one style. That God is as good at ballet as God is at ballroom, as God is at voguing in all of our fabulosity. That God is really a great waltzer, but also can hit it, get up off of that thing, that there's more than one path into God's love, more than one religion that God affirms. What if we really believed that God's love could hold us close enough that when God let us go, flinging us into the ballroom, we would feel so confident, we would feel so clear, we would feel so sure of the way we related to each other that we actually would build a loving community, a beloved community in which all the dances matter. You get to claim my people as your people, because as Jane Goodall says, all the people are just faded Africans. We all come from the motherland. Somebody say amen. And so you get to claim my ancestors' resilience and ability to move in the face of despair as yours. You get to claim my story of folks continuing to make a way out of no way, dancing in the face of sickness and sorrow, because dance is life, dance is prayer, dance is change. Dance is everything. Alice Walker says, hard times require furious dancing. Jacqui Lewis says, hot mess times require a theology of dance, of play, of improvisation, of not being sure, of being held in a container of love that teaches you how to move until you know how to do it yourself. I think God is our partner, not a puppeteer. I think we are held by a love so amazing, so divine, that God looks at each of us and delights and laughs and chuckles. Girl, look at you trying to do the new thing. I'm so proud of you. You get that. Go do that. Now, baby, that looks a little awkward. You might want to consider another choice. But I see you, our God of love says. And I delight in you, our God of love says. Now get up off of that thing and dance till you make it better. Thank you.